It's another time to discuss technology on Lagos Television. This is Techbridge on Lagos Television, and this is where we give you all the information that you need about technology. We talk about adequate information. We talk about ensuring that technology works for you and not against you. I'm Shoyifumi Olatide, and I welcome you to Techbridge today. So we're talking about something today, and of course, technology is all we talk about on this show. Now we're talking branding. We see that branding is the in thing now. It has gone beyond products that we sell. It has gone beyond services. Now human beings and individuals are now brands, and there is every need for everyone to know how to manage these brands, especially leveraging on technology. Things are different now from what they used to be. So I'm sure you don't want to miss this episode. Stay with us, and we'll be back after this break. Thanks for staying with us on Lagos Television. This is still Techbridge, and this is where we talk about technology. This is where we empower you technology-wise. And I told you we're talking branding today, and I've got someone who is a brand consultant, and he has consistently focused on helping leading brands and entrepreneurs get and retain customers. I'm talking about Adeola Kayode. Welcome to Techbridge today, Adeola.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So we're talking something about your turf today. So I will do less talking. You'll do the explanation.
Let's see how it works.
Okay, so we're talking branding today. And the first place I see it is that branding has gone beyond products and services. Now we have human beings, individuals that are actually brands. So let's pick it from this place. How do we say branding works then? And how does it work now?
So thank you again. Essentially, branding has evolved, you know, and it's still the same. Okay. Consumers have evolved, and they are still the same as well. Okay. I think way back, you trace branding to when people used to, essentially today I'll define branding as trying to create the sum total of all the impressions that people have about any product or individual or nation. So we have nation brands. What do people think about that? It's a sum total of their interactions, the news that they hear about it through media channel, what they see, the people who work. So it's the same thing for organizations as well. What is the overall total impression? At some point, people used to say it was the logo. It used to be things they print on your shirts. It used to be the trademark. It used to be the umbrellas you give out. But ultimately, a brand is the sum total of what we. So if you have a great logo and the customer experience is bad, you have a bad brand being built right there. So essentially, branding is the process of trying to ensure that what your intention is consistently what the customer experiences. So you need to find what you want and find what makes meaning to them, so that you can build that connection. And ultimately, if you went to the person who was selling amala, you won't find only amala, you find a lot more
have
things.
Other options.
But that amala is the handle that people easily can be able to relate with. So if you say, I build great shoes, you are likely going to find out that person may not only be selling shoes, but you find out that he's holding that as a core. So that when everybody is talking about shoes, he's saying, I build great shoes. And it's telling you what defines you. So ultimately, he has defined a handle to hold his cup. So when you find everybody talking about everything, it's simply telling you, I built great shoes. When you get to a store, you see shoes, you see bags, you see belts, you see suits. Because ultimately, in the multitude of channels, and if the barrier is flat, you have a lot of noises. Sure. It's only the people who are consistent and make connections are the ones who will distinguish themselves. So the channels are not as important as the connections you want to make. If you go online and, oh, I sell great shoes, I sell good shoes, buy shoes, buy shoes, buy shoes. Let me tell you my story. Okay. If you are selling the different kind of shoe, you are not going to get into that place and say, I sell great shoes. why not start by telling people what bad shoes is going to happen, or how bad shoes diminish their brand image? You know, there was a story of a guy who talked about the fact that he was on a mission to fight mosquitoes in Lagos State. Okay. He actually sells mosquito repellent, but he has created a mission that connects with everybody. Mosquitoes. You know, so it's the same way that you need to find a problem that makes meaning to those people, and then you begin to find the channels that means, and that's where channels now they're coming. Okay. Ultimately, what most people try to do is that they run into channels, you know. So they are posting, I sell food, Instagram. Today's the food. Today's Efoiro. Today's Amala. Today, no. Tell a story. Let people know. And there are people who are doing that great on Instagram as well, on Facebook as well, on WhatsApp as well. But you need to be methodological about how you do it. You need to be deliberate. It won't happen by happenstance. Yes, there are people who it happens to by happenstance, but it's not just because of the channel or the elements you created. Businesses are built by either retaining the customers you have or getting new customers. You need to create a pipeline or a journey for those people. People will meet you for the first time. Well, already, if people hear people's names now, they go online to go and check.
I want to check.
If they don't find you, then there's an impression you have already created. That's a brand you are building right there. So all that begins to okay, you are selling shoes. Where people find you? Is it your consistent posting on Instagram? If they see it today and forget tomorrow, how do you track them? So there are tools online and a whole gamut of tools that help you in helping you discover those customers, in helping you know the size of those customers, in helping you follow those customers, in building connections with them and ultimately engaging them.
Okay, that is much. I'll still come back to some of those things you've said, but I want to pick two things you've said. You talked about the elements, that it's not just about the brand and posting the rest of it. It must have a story, and the element and the content is more important than the channels. Yeah. So, and I see that visuals is one of the major elements we can talk about. So how do I deploy technology to get good visuals in my channel?
Fantastic. They say a picture is 1,000 words. I think video probably up that to like 10,000. You know, so visual, creating the kind of content your customers love or your potential customers are likely going to be interested in is key. And that means you trying to engage them or trying to educate them you see, building customers is almost as if you are trying to build a relationship with a lady. Ladies will have a lot of stories to tell you about. Yeah. Men will come up to them like, I like you, can we date? Or I want to marry you. They'll have a lot of stories about that. Where are you coming from? You know, but the guy came like, I don't know. There are so many pickup lines running in my head. But you see, you literally are building that kind of relationship. And that's where content comes in. Okay, so let me use my shoe guy. Okay. Who tells you, who gives you an example to tell you 10 ways to identify fake shoes. Now, 10 ways to identify fake shoes is critical because I've already laid the foundation of how bad or poor shoes or cheap shoes can ruin a day for you. You are going on, your shoe, you stepped, there's a pool on the road, you step into water, you forgot your sole, the sole of the shoe behind inside because the shoe was bad. You know, but there are some that are consistently and strong. There are some that you shine and they come out. There are some. So I'm literally trying to paint the story of what great shoes. I've not even told you that I sell shoes. I've only demonstrated to you because you need to like me first. You need to trust me first. And then anything I bring to you, you are my customer. So I think that is how it works, because ultimately, once you're able to define that, then what kind of content will you create? How 7 ways to identify fake shoes can be an article that you can write. Yeah, not everybody likes to read these days because video has become huge.
Yes, it's faster for people.
So it's faster for people to be able to do that. So. And what I usually advise is that once you have a content idea, you can repurpose it into several formats. So imagine that I simply have how to identify fake shoes. I can do a video and put my phone in front of my face and talk to it. People watch those things. So you don't need to begin to now look for, okay, I need to make it perfect. Sorry, your first one is not going to be fantastic, but people are watching, people are listening. When they are ready to buy, they will look for you. You know, so your phone is probably the most powerful tool, the most powerful branding tool that's actually come into play. Because with your phone, you literally can do anything. Anything you can think of you want to be able to do, you can do with your phone today. Your phone is essentially like a powerful computer in your hands. So yes, you can create videos. You can create infographics. You can create simple graphics of those things. So imagine that I said 10 ways to identify fake shoes. That's already 10 simple short graphs that you literally can put online at different times. That is one video. In fact, you can actually turn the 10 things into 10 short videos, 10 series of videos that you can use at 10 different. It engages your customers more. You know, already by the time you have gotten to the 6, people will ask you, sorry, do you sell shoes? Because what we have done is that you have told them, I know about this thing a lot more. As against the person who's saying, buy my shoes. But guess what? The beautiful part is that you cannot even charge a premium because you have built trust with them. Yes. You can take pictures between a good shoe and a bad shoe and post as well. You can, you know, there's a lot you can, and that's just one simple content idea. Tomorrow you can, or next week, the following week, can decide and say that how to test if the shoe you bought or the belt you bought is fake or original. Because I deal in leather, I will show you for free. But what I've done is that while you have given that information for free, you have bought the trust of that individual. Wow. In 3 weeks, I'll tell you I am selling original leather shoes, and I have 50 pairs. Those 50, I want to sell it in 1 week. Who is willing to buy? Please
so
DM.
Keep them down.
So
that's a strategic one.
Ultimately, what I've done is that I've taken them on a journey from people who were ultimately strangers to people who were waiting for what next is he going to bring that I'm going to buy. Okay,
but if I may ask at this point, I see that it is probably easier and more accessible now. But I'm just trying to imagine what it was when there were no social media. How difficult was it to manage a brand then? It was a lot more expensive, but the principles are still the same. Know your product, know your customers, find a connection, be consistent. It's the same. You know, the underlying principles are is like human beings. They say digital has changed all of us, but actually we are still the same. Because ultimately, the simple principles to learn, to love, that's Stephen Covey, to live, to love, to learn, to live a legacy, are still undergirding what we do in those things. Like saying that, oh, people check other people's Facebook page because they are now more envious than before. No, we've always been envious. We've always compared ourselves with other people, but there were no tools to amplify it. You know? so it's the same thing. So those principles are there. It's almost harder. But then it's interestingly, there are now more tools. It's actually now harder because we are all swarmed in information. You are swarmed, your emails are running, your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram are running, radio, TV. There are a lot more channels. In fact, we said that our attention span is now shorter than that of a goldfish. And how much was a goldfish? 9 seconds. So if in the if in the short few seconds people encounter you, you don't make meaning to them, they will forget you. So it's actually, while it is easier to read people now, it is actually easier to forget them. Okay, but if I may ask at this point, I see that it is probably easier and more accessible now. But I'm just trying to imagine what it was when there were no social media. How difficult was it to manage a brand then? It was a lot more expensive, but the principles are still the same. Know your product, know your customers, find a connection, be consistent. It's the same. You know, the underlying principles are is like human beings. They say digital has changed all of us, but actually we are still the same. Because ultimately, the simple principles to learn, to love, that's Stephen Covey, to live, to love, to learn, to live a legacy, are still undergirding what we do in those things. Like saying that, oh, people check other people's Facebook page because they are now more envious than before. No, we've always been envious. We've always compared ourselves with other people, but there were no tools to amplify it. You know? so it's the same thing. So those principles are there. It's almost harder. But then it's interestingly, there are now more tools. It's actually now harder
because we are all swarmed in information.
We've talked about all of this. You've talked about the content, the elements, the story behind it. Now, let's talk about the tools we can use.
So the tools, there's a tool for everything you want to do online today. Okay. If you can think about it, there's an app or there's a tool that will help you achieve it. So first, if people are searching, the first people go to online now is that they try to search for you online. So you need to even be found online for people to be able to reach you. You know, I've gotten people reach out to me I've never met before. You know, and that's because if you search for my name, they'll find you. So it's the same
online
thing.
Presence.
Yes, online presence. You need to have one first. You know, so yes, social media is great, but I think you should have one that embodies the totality of what you have. So I will divide it into three. I'll say your home base. Your home base, you control most of the things that is there. So having a website is key, because if I want to be able to reach out to you later, it's not via a social media page. So I'll put your home office, I'll say your outpost, that's where the marketplace, yes. Home base, the marketplace, because I see social media as a marketplace. You know those times when you used to have market squares, you know, where people go in the evening under the moonlight. Yes, that's why I like in social media to be. Where people come, they are coming to interact with each other, but ultimately some people who are selling. So that's not where your entirety of your communication, your business is. You can have one outside of it, where you can actually now then direct people to. Because imagine you as an individual, you are checking online, how much of posts do you see? Very few. As a matter of fact, I think they said there's a research that said that people scroll as fast. Yeah. So they're talking about stopping content. You know, that people see the content and they want to be able to know, okay, let's see. But you have a short time to tell that story. You need to be able to lead them somewhere. Remember that I said you want to take them on a journey?
Yes.
Imagine I said that, imagine what I'm posting is the fourth way you can identify great shoes. But I need to tell you that to access the rest, go to this place. Where is that place? You know, so imagine that was a website you had. You land there and I tell you, okay, I can actually send it to you. I can actually send all the videos to you. In fact, if you want an ebook of it, I have it. I have a transcript on it. However, if you want it, you have to give me your email that I send to you. You give me your email, I send it to you. But what I've done is that I've qualified you as a lead. Because I've qualified you as somebody who is interested in genuine leather shoes.
That's strategic.
That's it. So ultimately, that means that I can use email to reach you later. I can use retargeting to reach you later. You know, which is the emails, people check things on online shopping sites and that start following them is because you have been identified as a qualified lead. You know, so you need to and for people who are local businesses, there are so many tools as well. There's Facebook places. There's Google My Business. So because people go to Google to be able to search.
Yeah, it's like a search engine.
Google wants to be able to give people quality results because that's all they have. So there's a site called Google My Business where you can go register the name of your business, register the address, phone number, so that when people search online, to the right side, you will see some addresses. Yes. So you pop up. So based on the locality where you are, Google tries to give results to people who are closer to that area, because you are more likely going to buy. You know, before you used to say the world is going global. Yes, the world is going global, but it's more becoming local in relevance. So if I search for shoes online, if I see one shoe in Texas that is genuine, and I see another one who's selling genuine shoes in Ikeja, I'm more likely going to buy the one in Ikeja. So the search results, there was a time where I traveled across 3 countries and I made the same search results. Those search results were different because that means it takes into consideration where you are. Yeah. So a place like Google My Business is a place where you can register. It also syncs with Google Maps, but you can as well register on Google Maps, so that when you are in one locality and people search for the category of what you're selling, it brings out results that you are close by. Facebook Places is also another great place. So yes, there are people who have Facebook pages, but please add Facebook Places to it, because that gives a bit of local context for anybody who's searching for anything relating to your product as well. YouTube is another very powerful. So the most popular search engine in the world is Google. Second is YouTube. So that means that video content is also important. Imagine if somebody did Google Maps and said, I sell this, and then there's somebody else who has another video and demonstrates what they are selling. Yeah, I'm convinced. Yes, it's more powerful. So that means, and you don't need to pay anything to get on YouTube.
Of course, all those platforms.
Creating videos, you don't need. Before people used to be super critical about the kind of content, finesse. Those things are great for your brand, but then if you profile your customers and you know they really don't care about those things, please start. Because once you can create a video, you can do it and post online. If it's YouTube, Instagram, you can also tag your locality there, so that when people are in those areas, it's then as well relevant. You can there are lots of tools.
Okay, in fact, these ones you've shared, I think we're able to.
There's also emails. So we've gotten the emails. You can use MailChimp. MailChimp allows you to register 500 people for free. Wow. There's Mail Muncher. There are so many emails, so that you literally can broadcast to those people at once, and you can automate those broadcasts, so that when they register, you can send, I said the ebook, you can send the ebook to them immediately. But guess what? You may be sleeping at that time because you programmed it. You can turn that into an e-course. 7 days of how to make shoes like I do, and charge people for it. But you can set those things online. There are lots of tools, but the ability, I think the most important ability is the ability to develop a culture of trying to figure things out for yourself. Because if you find on YouTube and on Google, you find these things out, you'll be able to learn and do them yourself. There are millions of tools, and they are being created every day.
All right, I think much to say there. You've really given more than we expected. But thanks so very much for coming on our show, Adeola. We hope to continue this conversation some other time. Thank you. It's been nice talking with you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, that is Adeola there talking about branding and how technology has changed the narrative. Please stay with us. Techbridge continues. Well, thanks for staying with us. Adeola said it all. It's all about the story behind it. It's about content. It's about knowing what exactly you want to achieve with any brand that you have. That is all about it, and I'm sure you are wiser now. Please start taking charge of your brand. It is really important. Leverage on technology, and it will surely work for you. That's our episode today on Techbridge. Many thanks for staying with us. Remember that you can connect with us on Facebook. On Facebook, we are Techbridge LTV, and of course on YouTube, we are Techbridge LTV as well. Connect with us also on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. You can watch this episode and all other previous episodes as well. Of course, you can also watch using TV Now app or LTV mobile app. All of these are just for you. We are leveraging on technology to make sure that you're a better person at the end of the day. Many thanks for staying with us once again. I'm Sheyi Fumi Olatide. Hope to see you in the next episode. Bye for now.